I'm like, what the fuck is Bitcoin?
Business is making money while you're sleeping, not business out of sleeping for money.
We bought his girlfriend some Jimmy Choo shoes. I want to be paid in 1 minute. Julia, daj vodka, пожалуйста.
Gambling with Russian bandits.
So I was robbed in Irkutsk. All of a sudden it was worth 27 million.
Estonia is still a crypto hub.
Blah, 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 blah. Привет, я Тим.
Yeah, guys, it's a very tiresome day today. As always, at work, I'm going all in 100% during my day job. And then sometimes in the afternoons and evenings, I go and wander around in this beautiful city in the old town, which is a UNESCO heritage. And I also have quite a few companies that I know who operate from the old town. And one of them is a company called Coingaming Group, which deals in the gaming industry basically. So they have sports books, they have some gaming projects, and basically helping you have a great time, especially if you're stuck at home, because those things are online mostly. So I've decided to go and have a chat with Tim, who is the founder of Coingaming Group. No cigars today, we have to stick with almonds, but hopefully we're gonna get Mr. Heath slightly drunk and excited to share his life stories. And we're gonna know and learn a lot more about him, his company, his business, what the guys are doing, their plans.
G'day.
О, спасибо.
Привет, я Тим.
Slava.
Очень приятно.
Очень приятно. Great to meet you, Tim.
Very nice to meet you. This is my favourite whiskey. It's Nicker by the Barrel. It's a very, very good Japanese whiskey. And I highly recommend it.
Really, like highly, or like why would you recommend highly a Japanese whiskey?
Some say that Japanese whiskey now is even better than the Scottish whiskey. So they had a few Scotsmen come to Japan and they started making whiskey probably 20 years ago, 30 years ago. And coming from the water and all the nature in Japan, they've made this Nicker by the Barrel, Nicker distillery, and it's absolutely fantastic. So yeah, cheers.
Cheers.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Welcome to the Bombay Club.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I mean, it's a very fabulous place that you have here. Actually, you know, as I said, when I sent you like this message from mutual friend Alex, that you know we have a lot of mutual friends. We walk the same streets, right? But you're a very modest guy. Yeah. I think so, right? But you've actually achieved a lot in business, in charity work, in sports. I was very surprised. You know, when I was reading up on your company and what you're doing, there's like very little information, to be honest. But I've passed by your office and near the Kalamaya. Yeah, it looks nice. It looks very googly. I wasn't allowed in, right? It's like very tight security there. I don't know what you guys are protecting. Some fabulous assets. Yeah. So he didn't even let me in, but I can see. It's nice, and Estonia is really, you know, becoming like some kind of an IT hub. So I wanted to learn more why you came here. Look,
it's interesting. I studied computer science and commerce at Melbourne University back in '97, and I always say I did my MBA at Crown Casino playing poker. It was a very, very expensive MBA, but played a lot of poker there. Finished university, and all my friends went to work as a lawyer, as an accountant, as you know, in banking and whatnot. And they said to me, "Have you joined the graduate program at one of the banks in Australia?" I said, "No. I've bought a ticket to Hong Kong." So I flew to Hong Kong 3 months after finishing university, and then caught a train from Shanghai to Beijing, Mongolia, Ulaanbaatar, Irkutsk, Omsk, Tomsk, Ekaterinburg, Novosibirsk, in finally Moscow, and took 206 hours on the train.
Okay.
When I arrived in Moscow, I played in the Russian Poker Championships, came 5th place, won a bit of money, and I had a month living in Moscow playing cards. A friend of mine ran a casino there, and I was 22 years old. And then I had 1 month visa for Russia, and then I went to Estonia, and I had a little web company in Australia making web designs, but I was playing a lot of poker, and I thought I'll come to Estonia. I'd done my research, and I thought it was a very sort of IT-centric place. So, you know, you had Wi-Fi in the church gardens. You had the Tiger Leap program in 1995. Everything was moving online. All internet banking was moving online. You could do parking by SMS. It was a very sort of historical city, historical culture, but you had this amazing openness to IT and technology. So I thought, I'll come and live here for 6 months. Maybe I can play some cards, I can find some programmers, maybe I can build a little business, and then I'll be here, and then I'll go back to Australia and have my dev team working here, and I'll be back in Australia doing the work. 6 months went by and I was enjoying it. 12 months went by, I was still enjoying it. 18 years have now gone by and I'm still enjoying it. So, played a lot of poker, was playing online a lot, and I got to a point where I was a fairly good player. I wasn't quite best in the world or anything, and I was sort of thinking, do I go and study poker more and become really, really good? Or perhaps it's better that running a poker site would be better, because then you can make money when you're sleeping, which is sort of always one of my philosophies. A good business makes money when you're sleeping.
Oh, so you mean business is making money while you're sleeping, not making business out of sleeping for money?
Not making, I don't know who'd be paying me to make business out of sleeping for money. So we sort of did that, and then gradually I met a couple of guys, they started working, and in fact the CTO of the company is still with me to this day, 18 years later.
Nice.
And yeah, we were involved in poker. We started running poker sites, we were affiliates, we had our own sites, and it got to about 2013, the poker industry crashed. And we're having a Christmas dinner at Coingaiming, and I remember
it crashed. Sorry, I'm trying to.
The reason it crashed.
Is it because of that Black Friday with?
Black Friday happened in 2006, and all the American sites dropped off, and then there was another one in about 2013.
Yeah.
It was more that the economy of poker, online poker, was more difficult. People started using tracking database software, Poker Heads Up Display, Hold'em Tracker 3, and you could play, but you didn't have to think, because the computer was telling you what you should do against that opponent in that position. And I love playing live.
Yeah.
So I used to play at Astoria Palace with all the old Russian bandits, and you know, I learnt Russian playing cards. I learnt obviously very, very bad Russian playing cards, but I enjoyed that kind of experience, and I enjoyed the social aspect of poker. Playing online where you're playing like a machine didn't really interest me. And it made it very difficult. If you're not bringing new players into the game, there's no fresh money. There was no games left, which made it harder to make money. Anyway, fast forward, we were owed a lot of money from one poker company, and we had this Christmas dinner. And I remember saying to the team of 20 people back then, we're a bunch of smart people. We're really working hard in this gambling industry. You know, we can do anything we dream of if only we control the money. And it was Rayo, the CTO, said, what about Bitcoin? I'm like, what the fuck is Bitcoin? Like, I don't know what the Bitcoin is. So we all started on the phone, started Googling and checking it all out. And within 1 month, we had the software code from the company that owed us money. We took that out of escrow. We put a Bitcoin native wallet on the poker site, and we launched Coin Poker in January 2014. And we thought we can start building a poker network using Bitcoin, because all the wonderful things about Bitcoin, that it can travel seamlessly across the world. It's, you know, a unit of trust between two untrusted, unknown parties or untrusting parties. This is sort of what really helped poker flourish. So we thought, if we build this, we can continue on our poker journey. We had some slots on the side of the poker client, the pokies and whatnot. And people started playing these pokies, and we're like, the slots, and we're like, what the hell's going on here?
Have you analyzed their behavior, like because they were bored in between, like the hands
that
they were dealt?
Hands, and we put the game on the side, so when you fold the hand, they might come and press the button and play a few times. And it started, making 10,000 bucks, 20,000 bucks, 50, 100, 200. We're like, okay, forget the poker. Let's make a crypto casino.
Yeah.
And we'd bought Bitcasino.io as the brand, and we launched that then. And very interesting, in the crypto world, you had a lot of dice sites. So Prime Dice and Just Bits and all these ones. And I looked at them as very much of a backyard operation. It's a two-man show trying to build this gaming site, but they had no experience. We'd been running poker sites for 10 years now. So we had our fraud, we had our security, we had our programmers, we had our marketing, we had our retention. So we kind of knew how to run a poker site or a casino professionally. We had our Curacao license. So we started running that, and it was, right time, right place that, we attracted a lot of players. And the biggest thing we did, being a gambler myself, when you won money, I want to be paid in 1 minute. So whether you won 10 bucks or you won $500,000, we would pay people in 1 minute. And that was a huge difference. So if you played on a traditional Ollie bet or a cool bet or any of those ones, they'd take a week to pay you the money.
Especially if you win. If you start winning, that's it. Like
they wanted to go in there and cancel the withdrawal because it costs money to do payment processing. So we're like, well, if you win €500,000 or in Bitcoin at the time, we'll pay you in 1 minute. And then we would analyse within 6 hours, the money would come slowly back into the site again. People couldn't stop playing. So we sort of monitored that. And I remember we had a Japanese fella, and he won €250,000. We paid him his money in 1 minute. We then took him, organised him a weekend at the Park Hyatt in Tokyo. We bought him a nice cigar and a bottle of whiskey, probably Nicker. And we bought his girlfriend some Jimmy Choo shoes. And I actually met him a couple of years ago in Tokyo at the Rugby World Cup, and we took him out for dinner, and he said, I don't understand, I won €250,000 and yet you're looking after me, taking me to the hotel, the girlfriend was happy. I said, how many people did you tell? Oh, I told a lot of people. I said, there you go, that's why we did it. So it was a really interesting time back then. It was the Bitcoin community was obviously on Bitcoin Talk and on Reddit a lot as well, and there was this huge enthusiasm around Bitcoin, but no one really knew much about it. So it was a learning environment for everybody. But our goal was always to put the customer at the centre of the universe and treat them in a fun, fast and fair way, just the way I would like to be treated if I was, a punter myself. Just that our monetary unit was Bitcoin.
How do you take care of your staff? Like, obviously, money is not, once you start growing, money is not maybe the main deciding factor that keeps like staff retention, because that is important, right? You don't want your best people going have like a massive staff turnover, and now you have what, like 600 people, right? So how do you keep them happy? I see the office, which gives the environment, right? But then you also need to have leaders such as yourself, or is there like a personal development program or something?
So there's a couple of things in here. I think my role, I've stepped aside from being the CEO since last September. I'm now running our venture capital fund, which is, for me, being an entrepreneur, very interesting. It's how to help other startups grow. But previously I was the CEO of the company. And my parents were both school teachers, and my mum was a house mistress, and she said she knew every single kid, 250 kids in her level. She knew them all by name. She knew who they were, what they were doing. She knew all the parents, all their parents' names. It's actually incredibly hard that I need to have 600 one-to-one relationships. So I try and remember all the names, who they're with, where they've been, where they've gone on a holiday, what their family's doing, and try and just understand and empathise with the staff, that being very approachable and being very kind, I think, is really, really important thing. And explaining what the journey is all about, and try and motivate them through not how do we make money tomorrow, but where do we want to be in 12 months, 2 years' time, and why that's important. Now, yes, you can, obviously salaries are going up, and it's our payroll is quite scary these days. But you then build a team, a senior team around to share the same values and the same amount of respect towards everyone. We do a management development program where we take 14 people every year and we give them the skill set on how to be a good manager. But then I give them a project.
Okay.
And that project, they've got 4 months to do it. It's quite a difficult project, and the goal is to make $1.
So you don't give them the project, you just say make $1 and it's up to you.
No, I give them a general idea. So
idea,
one of the projects we're doing now is escrow.io, and I want people to use Ethereum to trade NFTs through an escrow facility.
Oh, interesting. I should get involved in that project somehow.
Very, very welcome. Yeah, it's but I don't tell them how to do it. But it's like they've got to learn throughout the company what resources they can use. And they say, "What's the budget?" I said, "Well, whatever the budget, whatever you want, but justify it."
Okay.
And they need to start thinking like business leaders. And when you do this, you put people. They've got a full-time job and a family. They've got to find time how to do this. So the funny one is they do their meetings, and the first meeting goes for 2 hours. That's all fluff, and everyone's indecisive. No one can make a decision. By the end of 4 months, you're making your meeting in 15 minutes, and you're in dot points, bang, 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 and you're getting things done.
And so you're mentoring them basically.
Mentoring them how to be good business leaders, and getting to know them, and really sort of helping them. Спасибо.
Thank you. Yeah, so I wanted to make like a small shift basically to talk. Sorry for interruption.
That's all right.
But I think we are basically fighting for attention, right? Which is the entertainment industry. And something that I found really exciting about you, there are two things: cricket that I want to touch on a bit later, but then the charity work. This is something that people don't really know. It's because I know some guys who work for your company and they feel really proud about saying, we support. So I wanted to combine, let's say, your and my gambling instincts to have a small, high card game, right? So
what are we playing for?
So let's say one card, one round, €100, and then the winner is going to say, okay, this is where the charity where the money is going to from the whatever is going to go. Yeah. Something like that?
Okay.
Is it okay if we deal from our deck?
Sure. Have we shuffled the deck?
Yeah, it's fine. So one for me. Let's do high card. You're asking all the right questions, but it's my game, so my rules.
Your game, your rules. But it's my casino.
Oh, okay. So it's your casino. So let's see who wins then. So. Karol, yes, exactly.
I Tuspikova.
Okay,
Молодец.
so it's I owe €100 to a charity of your choice now. Let's do 3.
Okay.
One more.
First one's dead.
Yeah.
10 of spades.
Yeah.
Volet Bubnova. 2-0.
Oh, okay. I think since we're in your casino, let's shuffle it. Let's put one here first. One for team first.
3 of clubs.
Have the best chance, I think.
And 2 of hearts.
Okay. So the casino always.
I think you dealt back to front there. It was meant to be. I'm meant to be sitting on that chair, and you're meant to be sitting here.
So the casino always wins, right? But yeah. So.
Well, I'll match it. I'll match it as well.
You'll match it as well.
I'll match it as well.
Yeah, it's great. So, but still, you'll have to choose the charity, and we're gonna, I'm gonna send a screenshot. It's all legit and things like that. Unfortunately, I'm just starting out YouTuber. I cannot invest a lot into charitable projects, but what I'm trying to achieve here is basically show the community, show guys who come to Estonia, and as you know, it's very, very small. It's like 1.3 million, right? Yep. It's hard to retain people. It's hard to get talent here, especially with Brexit and all those types of things. How did you handle the risk? Because obviously you have accountants who always stop the business growth, how I see it, right? And they need to control the risk. I assume the salaries were either in euros or dollars, right, in fiat, right? And they would want to somehow mitigate the risk, exchange Bitcoin for fiat. So how would you then did you also make a bet that Bitcoin is going to grow in value and say, okay, let's keep some reserves in Bitcoin? Or
I had a really complicated trading strategy, 50-50.
Oh, okay, nice.
So we would keep 50% of our money in fiat currency, euros or dollars or Singapore dollars, whatnot, and 50% in crypto. Now, every week would balance up. So if there was a new week, we're at 53% crypto, 47 euro, we would sell 3%.
Okay.
If the price went up higher, we'd sell it more, but we'd be 50. But if the price went down, that next week it was say 43, 57, we wouldn't sell any. And we'd let our crypto reserves grow till we got back to that 50-50. We could have probably been more aggressive and held Bitcoins, all Bitcoins, but I didn't want to gamble twice. Like, I'm responsible for all the staff to be paid every month. They've got the wife, kid, the dog, there's a family there who rely on this salary. We've got to pay electricity. So it's like, we don't need to be gambling there. Let's just do a 50-50 strategy. We're hedging our bet. If it goes up, half goes up, and if not, then so be it. The interesting one, in March 2016, we got an Estonian gaming license, and you had to put €1 million down as a player protection fund. So we went to KPMG, and we went to EMTA, the tax authority here, and said, we want to use Bitcoin as a non-financial asset, like a painting. They said, what's Bitcoin? Well, let us tell you. So we went and trained the tax office on what Bitcoin was. And we brought in KPMG and worked with them to understand it.
But you still paid them by the hour, right?
Still paying them by the hour, yeah. But we put, I think it was 2,346 Bitcoins we put down, which was worth €1 million at the time. That was in March. In December, we had that massive bull run. All of a sudden, it was worth 27 million euros. So we've taken $1 million out, put it back in the bank, and take the other 26 out. And tax office said, "But how is this possible? You're the most profitable company in Estonia, and you've done nothing." I'm like, "Yeah, it's pretty cool, isn't it?" But here's the KPMG audit. This is where we're doing it, and went through it all, and it was all verified. So, very, very interesting time when that money was appreciating so much. And yeah, look, it was a crazy time. Security of Bitcoin was obviously really important. We've got our hot wallets to pay people instantly. We've got a coldie, we've got a colder, a coldest, and the deep freeze. And I'm not going to go into where it's all stored, but it's all distributed throughout the world and whatnot. So we've really focused on securing those coins very carefully. Meanwhile, having enough money in our hot wallets that we can always pay out $1 million to a winner instantly, because that's obviously a very, very important thing.
But can I pause you here for a second? So I had this question, like you mentioned in like 1995, you were traveling through the whole Russia, and at that time was 2002. Yeah, that was quite a dangerous period in Russia, I would say. Did you have some stories?
Quite a fun period too.
Fun period, yeah. Did you have some maybe like a funny story that you remember, like gambling with Russian bandits? And
I've got a couple of stories. So I was robbed in Irkutsk. Fell in love, beautiful Russian, the Paris of the East, obviously, and. There was one girl I met at a bar, and the next day I've gone to her university. She was studying English, and I gave a talk about Australia to 20 stunning 20-year-old Russian Siberian women, and it's like, I'm in seventh heaven here. And the next day I was robbed, so I lost my passport, lost my money, lost everything. So I don't think it was her, but it was it was a wake-up call that not everything is always rosy and grey. So. But certainly playing poker in Moscow was a very, very interesting time. And if only I spoke Russian then as well as I do now, I could have understood what they were saying about me the whole time.
But Estonia is still a crypto hub. I think Switzerland is trying to...
Zug.
Zug, but I want to show that it's a lot better. Right, and that we have stuff, we have charity, we have events, we have cool people, and they're approachable like you are. Obviously, for the guys that don't know, I basically sent Tim a message through a friend saying, there's a guy who's an alcoholic who would love to chat with you and showcase the company and get an expert opinion. And Tim, kindly you've agreed.
Just a pity I was half an hour late for the interview, but it's a busy life these days.
It is, and I think that's what makes people successful, actually, right? So you're busy. but you have a purpose in life. So I was really fascinated that you, first of all, you came from Australia to Estonia, right? You already mentioned your motivations. But then secondly, you came here and you didn't just try to make money because you can just make money and you have IT people here. You also started cricket, popularizing cricket, right? So, I mean, I lived in England for 15 years.
You play cricket?
No, that's the thing. For me, cricket is
next Saturday.
Let's do it. I'm up for it. I don't have any white clothes though, right? Because for me, from memory, I see people in the park wearing all white, and I'm just remembering my mom's when I would play football in white clothes, she would say, "Oh, no.
It's too dirty on the knees."
Yeah. But I would love to try it. Can you tell me a bit how it started, or?
And I'll come back to the charity bit in a second as well. But with cricket, I like to work hard, no doubt about it. And I'm very passionate about what I'm doing. I don't consider it a job. There's always a chance of sort of continually innovating and disrupting the norm and the status quo. But sometimes you need to take a moment just to switch off. And for me, I play squash during the winter and then cricket during the summer. And I played at school, but a little bit at university, but not really that much cricket. I got here and I must have been Googling cricket at one stage, and there's cricket in Estonia. So I went down to the Hippodrome, and there was one team playing. And we used to go and play every Saturday, and it was a great way to get away from, freshly cut grass. It's a beautiful smell, and then out there for 3-4 hours with your mates playing a game. It's chess with a ball, in essence. Now, fast forward a little bit, I jumped on the board of the Estonian Cricket Association as a treasurer. I wanted to clean it up a little bit. I was fortunate enough to be the captain of the national team as well, and we're now in the ICC. So England and Australia, we're 1 and 2 in the world. We're 72 in the world in Estonia. So recently, we had to move from the Hippodrome. We had that one ground. When we were playing Hippodrome, the horses are running around, and we had to actually stop when the horses were running. But I used to say to the guys, if you hit the horse, it's $20, It's a But the Hippodrome closed, and we went to the local government and said, can we get some more land? And I miss on cricket. They had no idea and didn't care about it. So we'd done well, so I thought perhaps I can go and buy some land and we can plant some grass seeds and we can build cricket facilities. And it's ended up being out in Tiskra. We now have 2 cricket grounds, a rugby ground. We're building a clubhouse and an indoor centre, and it seems to get bigger every second weekend. We have come up with a new idea and let's make it bigger and bigger. We've gone from having 1 team in 2005 to 12 teams now. We have 50 girls playing cricket.
Can I join that team?
You certainly can. It's a fun one to go and to play on. And look, it's just on a Saturday afternoon, you're away from your phone. You're away from being that sort of the umbilical cord connecting you to work, and it's a chance just to relax, to go out in the sun, talk shit with your mates, and have a good time. Go to the pub afterwards for a beer, and I really enjoy that disconnection away from it all. For me personally, I enjoy giving something back. So it's been a fairly expensive operation to build a cricket ground and playing Monopoly, buying land out there because it's a hot area. But now we've got this wonderful big green space in the middle of a new developing suburb of Tallinn. And all of a sudden we've got a school across the road and we've got a common goal with the ECA board and myself. We want 1,000 kids playing cricket every Saturday morning. And it's a foreign game, cricket, in Estonia. But we've gone from having 12 people up to 250 now, and we hope to get to 5,000 people and just continually keep growing it. And it's somewhat altruistic that it's you're giving back to the community. We've got 7 different nations there, with Estonians, Russians, South Africans, Australians, Bangladesh, Pakistan, India, New Zealand, England. Latvians playing, Lithuanians playing, Ukrainians playing, and we bring all those people together with a common interest, and it's a way to sort of bind the community together really nicely. Even the NATO guys in Tapa, they put a team in.
Really?
And they drive down every Saturday and play as well. They're not very good because they're English, but anyway, English have never been very good at anything, have they? So
except stealing. But they have great museums though, right? We're not going to ask how they accumulated all the
Artifacts.
yes, but yeah, if my channel is called Naughty Crypto, so maybe you never ask a businessman how he made his first, like, I don't know, a few grand to start the business. Am I understanding correctly that from your poker proceedings, so basically from your passion, you gained, you've earned some money, and then you've put it into another passion, which is like, or the sense of freedom, or wanting to become free and establishing business? Is that?
Look, I started my first business when I was 14 years old.
In Australia,
In
right?
Australia, and I've always been very entrepreneurial. This business we started from $1. In fact, I still have the first check from Party Poker affiliate.
Oh, nice.
And it was like $1.67 was the first check, and I've still got it at home, and it's actually on my wall at the office. And that's where it all. We've never taken money. We've never had investments. For the first 7 years, I never took a salary.
Yeah.
I played poker. That was enough for me to make a couple of grand a month to satisfy living and my expenses, and then always kept on reinvesting into the business to try and do the new thing. So we've had our ups and downs, obviously, many failed businesses, and I consider that to be quite good fun, that it's no problem to fail in a business as long as you learn something from it, that you don't do it again. And that's the most important thing.
Okay, would you say, so I wrote some time ago like an article for LinkedIn saying something like what poker taught me and helped me develop certain skills that I brought to work, right? So would you say, and at that time, I played a little bit, NL 50, maybe something like that, cash, so not a lot, to make a living, more like a rake back guy.
You would have got right back from me then, probably.
Yeah, maybe. I loved Full Tilt as the best. But, I've realized that actually people who play games, and it doesn't matter if you're playing like a single game as like a solo player, or if it's a team game, you learn certain skills that actually other people who don't play games don't learn, right? Which, for instance, with poker, I would assume you have great memory, because otherwise you wouldn't be able to remember all of your staff's birthdays and things like that. But would you also say that having this prejudice of being, let's call it a gambler or like a player, right? A player, do you think that was also a factor that you started your own business instead of, just imagine you go to a company and you say, for the past 3 years, I was a professional poker player. Take me to finance. And they will say, are you crazy? Like,
most people would say, no way in hell am I taking you on. If I had someone come to me and say, I was a professional poker player for the last 3 years, first thing, I'd ask them their username, check them out in the shark rankings. Then I'll probably sit down and have a game with them and understand this. You learn everything about business from playing poker. Absolutely everything I've learned is all from playing poker, whether that be memory, whether it be probability, whether it be psychology, reading people, whether it be bankroll management, not making, don't let your finances dissuade your decision to do something. And there was a great example. There was a guy, Alexander Nikiforov, nice guy, used to play poker. You wouldn't want to meet him in a dark lane. However, I used to play for, I'd take 2,000 crowns, and it was a 10, 20 crown game. So I would say 160 euros, and I'd play. And I would try and build myself up to 5,000 crowns. And then on a Wednesday, then cash out, go to Hollywood and try and have a bit of fun at Hollywood back in the day on a Wednesday night. I remember we got to do it was PLO, Parliament Omaha, and all the money's about to go in, and I'm a 65-35 favourite. And he's pushed me all in. And I'm like, the correct move is to call because I'm a favourite. But if I lose, I need to go to the ATM, I need to use my Australian credit card, take out another 2,000 crowns, try and grind out to get to break even. I should lock in the profit I've got and I should follow the hand. But the correct mathematical decision is an instant call there, being a 65% favourite. Now, of course, we dealt the hand, I passed, we dealt the hand out, I won. And Zanya said, Kurica. to me afterwards. But from that point on, it taught me something very important. Don't let your bankroll or your financial situation dictate a decision-making process which should be based on the mathematical probability of what's correct. And I've taken that throughout life in every business dealing I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I like to look at it. It's all about decision making and make the right decision based on the information you've got. It's an incomplete game of information, obviously. So you don't have perfect information. You can't wait to have perfect information. Get as much as you can and make a decision, and make the best possible decision. You don't win every hand, fine. As long as you're winning more hands and losing less hands, that's good. And everything I've done, I mean, we had a great thing there. It used to be the Nordic Bet Super Weekends here, and all the Finns and Swedes would come over. And I'm fairly loud.
Fish, right?
I'm a fairly loud Australian when I'm drinking, so I rock in there and I'm playing like the 2-2 game or the 5-5 game, and I'd say, oh, let's go, boys. Oh, you're in Estonia. Let's start drinking vodka. And Yulia, the lovely waitress at the Olympic Casino, I'm like, Yulia, no vodka, пожалуйста. And she'd walk over with 10 shots for me. And we'd hand them all out. Blah, 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 blah. Yulia, bring more, bring more, bring more. And in the end, they were all completely drunk. I was stone cold sober because they'd had 9 shots of vodka and 1 shot of water. So I'm doing shots of water. I'd win all their money and then go and give Yulia 100 euros and say, thanks very much. See you next weekend.
My plan to get you drunk and, you know, have some really insider information is not going to work out today.
It might, but it might take a good half a bottle of whiskey to get there.
Oh, Slava, you look like a moron.
I had to take a loan from my parents.
Take my mates, grab a helicopter, and parties.
Oh, brilliant business. That's why I sell sparklers. Win anything at life by being a dickhead.
There are 6 cards. Epic.